at the time, I thought, well, it's been diagnosed early, and I thought, well, with the right sort of interventions, with Ted, I didn't realise how severe the autism was because he was so young. But yeah, I think sort of, with autism as well, it's not apparent from birth. So it was, a shock. But sort of once I've sort of got used to it, I think all I've just wanted to do was just make sure they got all the help and support, and just for their lives to be as happy as possible.
I don't think a lot of people, even in Eastbourne, know what autism and Asperger's is, or what it's like for a family to have a child 24 hours a day at home.
Eventually, when Joe can't have him at home anymore, he'll go into care and he'll be there for the rest of his life.
I just think people, they just don't understand. They don't know what autism means, what it involves. The misconception usually is that they are just naughty children, or children whose parents haven't given them enough time so they don't engage properly in society. And I think people need to really understand what a diagnosis of autism means, and that they're not freaks. Their brains work differently, they're wired differently, and they have as much right to be in society as anyone else does. And to support us as families, to support them as individuals, and not criticise. And that's what I hope to do, and whenever I speak, that's what I try and speak about.
Quite a lot of old people just think that they haven't been brought up properly, and that they've just, I don't know, that haven't been disciplined enough and stuff, which is crazy. And I think you don't see it a lot around, because like when I've been out I take Ted out, and people give me weird looks, and I think it puts the parents and carers off going out, so you don't see them around as much as you see normal children. So I think some people are quite scared of them, just don't really understand what's wrong with them, and just want to avoid them and not really be in contact with them.
I'm Jo Masson, and I'm the mum of two autistic boys, Ewan, who's 11, and Ted, who is 9. Both my boys have sort of very different needs, but very challenging in sort of different ways. My eldest son, Ewan, is on the high end of the autistic spectrum, but he presents with a lot of sort of challenging behaviours, in the sense socially he struggles with what to say, in situations. With Ted, my youngest boy, he is on the very severe end of the spectrum. No speech or language, sort of very much in his own little world. Ted also has epilepsy, which was sort of diagnosed last year. So, two very different boys, but, which is very difficult, to sort of manage both their needs at times.
And this is Ted, who has some speech, but it's not, he can say nan, mum, and he also says Narnia over and over again. He's very sensory, so he likes patting and sort of pressure on him, and tickling and singing, but he's very big and runs around a lot. And that's Lucy, who has autism and Down syndrome. She's very flappy. Autism is they like flapping the feel of the air. Yeah? Never seen you this quiet, Harry. Do you like playing outside?
Yep.
What's your favourite thing to do ever?
Sword.
Fighting with swords?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you want to do when you grow up, Harry?
I'll be the pilot.
You want to be a pirate?
Yeah.
Oh. You're going to have your own ship?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to make people walk the plank?
You'll be Wendy.
I'll be Wendy.
You'll be. Yeah. You Peter Pan. You John.
Who are you going to be?
Captain Hook.
Oh, you're going to be Captain Hook.
Who's going to be Smee? Sidekick. Leon.
Leon. Mrs. Lee. And Captain Hook.
Captain Hook. Who's that?
That's the Walter Bunny.
For me, I was a very sort of impulsive person, and sort of things I sort of would like to do, so I'm not always able to do. We're not able to eat in restaurants with Ted or go anywhere like really busy. Holidays are difficult. Foreign holidays are like out the question. We did try one, and it was just being on a plane was sort of too much. But yeah, anywhere that's sort of too busy, Ted just finds it really difficult. He's got sort of sensory integration sort of difficulties as well, so he's oversensitive to sort of sound, and he often put his hands in his ears in sort of busy sort of situations. But I still try to give him some exposure, and I sort of think that's important, that because things like even going to Tesco's when it's busy, and he's sort of got used to that.
Often extremely bright kids, but they just can't express it. Ted, now I've been doing a placement at his school, and I've seen him write his name, and he's starting to speak now, saying small words. So you never know, in 10 years he could have more developed speech and stuff, so he's just developing all the time, just at a slower rate than everyone else. So, yeah. So that's what we were doing at school with her. Ted pats a lot, and so do a lot of autistic children. It's the pressure and the feedback that they get. So when they're tapping or something like that, it's the pressure that they get, and they do. A lot of autistic children have pressure therapy, where you squeeze all of their limbs, and it releases stress and their sensory needs.
Families with autism is great, and I think it's like really good that there's a place that sort of children can go on a Saturday, sort of where they love going. Both my boys love sort of going to the Saturday club, and it gives parents a sort of break.
I think we try and give the families a bit of a break with the children for a full day, and also try and give the children something to do that's quite practical, like with the cookery session. That's something that they probably wouldn't be able to do at home. The cookery area is quite set up for children with learning disabilities. It's quite safe. The hobs don't get hot, they're inductive, so you can have a special pan to go on the top of it as well. All the temps are quite high, and there's no chemicals and anything like that around there, so all the rooms that are in here are quite safe environments for the children.
There's definitely a need, definitely from the parents, to have a kind of club that the kids can come to that's appropriate for them and that can help them, because there's loads of clubs around for children but not for children with autism. So for them to come here, they know that we're all trained to helping their children, and they know that they're going to have a good time, hopefully.
I think initially Families for Autism was a local project for local families in East Sussex, mainly Eastbourne, but we do branch out to Battle, and we branch out to Peacehaven, Brighton, that way. But I think because we've had funding from the lottery, we've had funding from local councillors, I think that actually it has become, more than just a local project, that we are promoting awareness and, supporting the parents and the families that are out there that need it.
I've had loads of support from King's Church, and yeah, my faith really helps me sort of get through a lot, you know. But yeah, it sort of I'm able to go on a Sunday, and Ted gets one-to-one support, which is really good.
We use these cards, they're called Mackerton pictures, and they're used throughout all of the schools in England, really. So all of the kids have the same signs at home, at school, at all the clubs that they go to. No. Different activities that we can show them, so they can. So we don't just say art; we show them a picture of it as well, so that they understand better. So the break, lunch, home, finished, quiet, sit down, going to the toilet, because it might be in the middle of a session that we need to go and change them, so they might get a bit confused. So if we show them their toilet sign and say toilet, then they know that they're just popping out to go and get changed or something. Not available is used a lot. Instead of saying no or just say no, it's easier to say not available, and these signs are used quite a lot at schools and things for rooms they're not allowed to go in. Maybe the staff room, there'll be a not available sign on it that will show them that they can't use it. Take your sword.
Ah, Peter Pan.
Oh, you're Peter Pan now. Who's Chris?
You're the one who's the name.
Red stop, which we sort of use. I don't really use it that much. It's more the orange card we use, which is nearly. So we'll show them it about 3-4 minutes before we're going to move, so that they know it's nearly finished, and that they know that they're going to move on to something else, because they need that time to get ready to move. Then the green is go, so they can go and play, and the red is stop if they're doing something that they're not meant to be doing.
I mean, sort of respite is a sort of ongoing sort of battle, but I think that's the same for sort of anyone. I just think there's a lot of cuts being made, but I do think it's important that parents get that support, because everyone needs a break.
For the families, when they bring the children here, obviously it just gives the family something on a Saturday that they can go and do by themselves, because obviously during the week, apart from when the children go to school, it can be quite full on. So if they've got something planned on a Saturday, you need to go shopping, which is going to be quite hard if you've got an autistic child in the middle of the town centre. Something like this does help them. And also, just for the children, they can either spend the full day here or half a day here. So again, depends on the family. You might just want a morning away somewhere, and this is somewhere safe for the children to be.
For me, I've had to just try to develop a thick skin, really, and not let it sort of get to me. I just think with some people, it's not their fault. They're just not aware of it. I think, with the older generation as well, there wasn't children. They weren't around years ago. Children with especially severe autism, they were sort of put into homes.
These children will be in care for the rest of their life, so they're in special schools, and then they'll go to college, to a special college, and then they'll go into care for the rest of their life, so they're not out in the society as much.
Actually, we used to have neighbours when we moved in here, and they were just very judgmental, and they actually reported us to environmental health, and they brought sound equipment in to sort of listen to see if it was a noise nuisance. But yeah, it was it got sort of quite nasty. You know, the lady ran down the road after us once and was, you know, just saying that my children are animals, and, you know, just stuff like that. It's just quite hurtful and stressful at the time, but you know, she's gone. They've gone now. We've got other neighbours, and they just seem a bit more tolerant.
I actually went and booked a bowling trip yesterday for the youth group, and the person I booked it with didn't know what autism was, which I actually found incredible in this day and age when there's so many people being diagnosed.
Because this is Hazel Court School where special needs children come, which is linked to it's linked to Causeway. I think that because they integrate the children quite a lot, it'd be really good. It's really good to like help mainstream children learn what special needs children are like. So I think schools like this really help, but there aren't that many out there. So,
but I think actually in this country we are, you know, in a better position than a lot of countries. You know, there's sort of, you know, sort of countries in the world where, you know, children are still locked up or, you know, kept, you know, in I've heard horrible things, you know. So it is sort of getting better, but I still feel like there's a way to go.
I think it's quite a hard thing to think about because you want to look after your kids forever and you don't want some stranger looking after them, and I mean, he's going to be in nappies all of his life. And I mean, there's been lots of sort of documentaries that have been on TV where they haven't changed people for days, autistic people, and they've been quite bad with them and haven't treated them properly. So I think that's also quite a worry, that getting them into the right place that they're going to be happy in.
I just try to sort of not think too far into the future, because I just find it, you know, a bit scary. I just hope that, you know, sort of with Ted, his communication skills improve enough to sort of know, you know, that he needs to sort of walk, and they are getting better. But yeah, I just try to take one day at a time.
That'll be yours. That'll be yours. Good night and cat.
You can do about the year you are born. So we should just be happy we were born at all. You don't need to see his face to know it's there. You don't need to make a move, it's the warmth within the air. You feel it in the morning when you leave your house. Your heart in your eyes becomes running out. It don't matter if we feel alone sometimes. And with the violence, you should just be happy it's not you. So you can fall in and out of love, as long as the ground's beneath you and the sky is above.